So the purpose of this series that we're filming is obviously to film my journey to standing on stage in Classic Physique next time, which will be in 2026 for the Scottish season. April, we competed start of this year, first timers. I also did the Classic Physique category, did really well, first timers. Did not place in the Classic Physique one, but it was really good being able to stand next to those guys and have an idea of what we need to build towards this off season. So I've just started my second improvement phase of this off season. We ran a health phase for about 12 weeks. There was a couple of blood markers that were off that we needed to address, as well as some digestive issues. So honestly, I would stress so much, even for if you're enhanced or you're not, get your blood done, get your blood tests done, make sure that you're nice and healthy. If there's anything that comes up that's not right, don't just ignore it, make sure you address it before you continue to push up. Same with if you've got digestive issues, if there's certain food sources that aren't agreeing with you, don't just start pushing them more into an improvement phase because you're just exacerbating an issue that's already there. So yeah, any issues that you got, make sure that you spend time addressing them so that you're able to push on and get as much out of your off season as you can. So we've got a back session on the cards today. We're probably gonna tag in a bit of biceps at the end as well. We're just gonna go and weigh out my intra workout just now and then we'll get started with the training. So intra workout, I have 75 grams of cyclodextrin. I also have 100 grams post-workout as well. We played around with quite a few different sources post-workout and I was getting very low blood sugar around my training window, which is why we've got quite a lot of cyclodextrin in. It seemed to be the only thing that actually worked in terms of stopping me from feeling like I'm going to pass out when I was eating my post-workout meal. So yeah, it seems like a lot of sugar, but it is definitely what's helped. That was one of the issues that we needed to address in that health phase, was the post-workout window just not working. So we think we've got it down to a T now. This is what we're going to run with for the moment. So man, take it easy. Something else I do as well is when I'm training, I take my wedding ring off to stop it from getting scratched. But to keep the missus happy, we've got the silicone one that I always wear, which I don't mind if that gets damaged when I'm training. So I've just done my first feeler set. I'm going to keep building up until I get to my top set. The purpose of these feeler sets, you've got three main things that we're aiming for. One is obviously getting warmed up to avoid injury. Two, we're trying to pre-fatigue the muscle so that we don't need to go as heavy for the main set. Obviously that is going to be more protective on your joints, your connective tissue, while we still get the same amount of stimulus. So a lot of clients, they feel like they want to go straight in and go as heavy as they can. And if they pre-fatigue, they're not going to be able to do the same. It doesn't matter if you go that heavy, as long as we're getting the same amount of stimulus because we've pre-fatigued. We're also trying to practice the technique. If you just go in and try and lift heavy load from A to B, that's exactly what you're going to do, is just push weight A to B, no connection, you're not going to feel what you're doing at all. Whereas if we start off nice and light and we practice the technique in advance, we're going to be able to apply that to our top set and get more out of it. So just going into the top set now, 12 to 15 reps. I don't think we've got any intensifiers on this one. We're just going to do a straight set, have a rest, and then we'll go into the back off. Just going to go into the back off set in a second, just taking a bit more rest. A big thing with resting in between sets, a lot of people ask, how long should I wait in between sets before I go? Obviously that's going to differ from person to person, from exercise to exercise. What I always say is that there's three main components to how long you should rest between sets. One is the target muscle recovered fully yet, so for here, the back, lats. Two, any synergistic muscles, they need to be fully recovered, so forearms, bicep, grip. If they're not recovered yet, then they're going to be the limiting factor instead of your back, so we're not going to get what we want out of the exercise. And three, your cardio, which, as you can tell, I'm still out of breath, is another factor that we need to consider. If you're not gathered your breath back yet, you're not going to get as much out of the set, and you're going to gas out before your back's actually got into the point of failure. That's my goose. So next up, we've got chest supported T-bar row. This is quite a good exercise. I'm playing around currently with which grip works better for me. Initially, we were trying to flare the elbows out a bit wider, just to hit a bit more upper back, which was slightly underdeveloped for me. My back as a whole is definitely a strong point. By no means is it something that I'm worried about, but we did want to try and grow the upper back a wee bit. I was just having some issues with using the upper grips on there, wrist issues, so we're playing about with the lower one just now and not really worrying where my elbows land. Obviously, you've got a bit more strength if our elbows are a bit more in line with our lats rather than the shoulders, so we are trying to push this a bit heavier today, I think. We'll just get a feeler set in first, and then we'll load it up and go for it.
I love when the good news coming in on a day-to-day. Already know what's happening, I don't got it.
Ready to rock. Just gonna give that a rest for a second, but aye. Meant to say it's 27th today, 2 days after Christmas, so aye, we're getting them pig and blankets pumps on the go. I was actually pretty reserved this Christmas. Like, I woke up and I had my usual meal one, and I think I had a protein cookie with it. Simone got it from Louise here. One of the, I can't remember what they're called now, the Mountain Jewels or something like that. But I think I had my usual meal too as well, and then we went out for Christmas dinner. This year was actually a lot better. We usually have Christmas dinner in the house. Because we stay in Inverness and I've got family in Aviemore, she's got family in Alness, everybody usually like congregates to our house, and the house just gets absolutely wrecked because obviously there's so many people, all the presents, the toys and cooking and stuff, so we decided went out to the Three Witches this year, and so much more relaxed. It was really good. So had a meal there and then came home, and I think I just had one more meal. I think I had like some salmon and rice, and that was me, and went to bed early. So it was a pretty reserved Christmas, but it was by no means like, oh, I'm trying to stay on plan. It was more like I ate what I felt like eating, and some of the meals just happened to be my usual ones because I feel good when I eat my usual meals. Another touch on that is that for me, and Enrico's just said it as well, when you eat shit food, you feel shit. So like, it's nice that we have Christmas Day or any other holiday, you know, if it's your birthday or whatever, where you can let free a wee bit more, but like, I'm still very mindful of what I'm putting into my body because I won't feel good if I eat shit. Like, I was quite reserved. I forgot to say I had a Terry's chocolate orange as well, but like, I ate that and then I had a sugar rush and then I felt shit. So I'm like, nah, well, go and have my Christmas dinner, then a normal meal off my plan, and I'll actually feel all right. So, you know, it's nice to have this time where we can have a break and not feel like we're on a diet, but like, if you're like me and you just feel better off of food, then that's what you're gonna do. But yeah, let's get into this top set.
Big moves, big stepper in the right direction. The trip continues, every double use a psychedelic.
Aye.
Journey over accolades, divvy up the maculates and tell them boys a happy day. Give and take, and I love to give. Give and take, and I love to love to see the bros hitting milestones. Gone, get your shine on, brighter than an iPhone screen. Anybody trying to take a piece of pie home?
Sweet. So we're going to go into the back offset next. What I am going to do is, for each rep, do a 2-second iso hold at the peak contraction, really slow it down on the eccentric. Probably go quite light for that because it's going to be a pretty difficult intensifier. For each exercise, I'm doing at least one feeler set, depending. If it's like near the start of the session, I'll do a couple. And then I've got a top set and a back offset. Now, some would say that that's pretty low volume, but what we're doing, my whole philosophy for training, and this is what Jack's taught me as well, is high intensity, low volume. Kind of like Mike Menser, but not as mental as that. Like, we've got a good amount of volume in there, but I think having less total sets to do in the whole session makes you be able to focus more on the sets that you're doing and apply yourself more and get full intensity out of it. You'll notice that I go to failure and then I'll do partial reps afterwards. So, you know, what we are doing, we're fucking obliterating. We're going hard. So, yeah, I definitely feel like the low volume, high intensity works for me, and it's what I do with most of my clients as well, and it seems to be working. So, but each to their own, you know?
Take a stick or drop them like a pine cone. Conversations about the goals and the gold that I'm sitting on. All I hear is low balling digits if I listen to them. No need to counter if it's disrespect. Swam with sharks on how to bite my way out fishing nets. Yeah, I see the light at the end of the juice. Got me swinging for the fence. Always look the light through a different lens. Sevens every time I put that lever. I love when the good news coming in on a day-to-day. Already know what's happening, I don't gotta shake the hay. Big moves, big stepper in the right direction. The trip continues, every double use a psychedelic. Journey over accolades, divvy up the maculates and tell them boys to have a day. Give and take, and I love to give. Give and take, and I love to.
Sweet. I've only actually been training in bodybuilding style for the last 2 years. Before that, I actually focused mainly on powerlifting, not competitively, more just like for strength gains. I feel like a lot of the time that I was training, I didn't know what I was doing and I never reached out for help. Obviously, I went to college, I became a PT, got all my qualifications for personal training. I also signed up with Jack because I decided that I wanted to pass the reins on to somebody else. It's one thing to be able to train other people, but I think when you're trying to coach yourself, you can be way too, either harsh or you can be way too lenient, and you just don't get the results that you're looking for, and you'd be constantly second guessing what you're doing. And I think also as a coach, you need to be able to accept that you don't know everything. Any advice that I would give to anybody is if you hire a coach and they think they know everything, find another coach, because you don't know everything. Myself working with Jack, it's allowed me to progress not only as an athlete but as a coach too. So, and yeah, I know this is kind of like a long-winded answer to the question that you just asked me, but I think changing over to bodybuilding, this is when I've kind of done the more low volume, high intensity, rather than the powerlifting training that I did for about 7 years. So the plan would be to do the single arm high row, which has been used just now. What we'll probably do is go on to dual handle pull downs, and then we'll see if we can get onto that after. But I'm taking this off just now because it's starting to get warm now. But yeah, so we'll make our way over there and we'll get started. No, I wish I did. Jack's got one though, Vanilla Gorilla. If you want a discount on heavy duty, then that's the one to use. Shout out to Ollie, you never know. So you notice that there's a slightly different form on this pull down. When we're at the top position in the stretch, we're quite narrow with the elbows. It's allowing us to stretch out the lats just a wee bit more. At the bottom, peak contraction, we're going out wide just to try and get a bit more rear delts and upper back. This variation of it, I just feel such a good connection with my back on the home. So that's kind of why we do it in that fashion. So yeah, we're going to go a bit heavier today. It's feeling pretty good, so I might actually try and go for a PB on this. Sweet. We got into a back offset once we've had a wee rest. That was a bit heavier than expected, but we got at least within the rep range that we were looking for. Even though we're, maybe 6, 7, 8 months into the off-season after competing, I've got my months mixed up, but I'm actually the same weight just now. I'm 205. I was 204 pounds at the end of my off-season last year before I started prep, but I'm considerably leaner. I'm holding a lot of good condition, so that definitely suggests that there's a lot of lean mass been built, which is good. Food's still relatively low as well, so we've got quite a bit to still push and continue. Appetite's still there, so I definitely feel like the body weight's going to scale up. By no means is body weight something that we're only going to focus on. Obviously visuals are very important too. Comparing the visuals to last off-season to now is just night and day difference. That's not me trying to be egotistical, it's me just being very, diplomatic with it and trying to be honest with how I'm getting on. I am pleased with the progress that we've made this off-season, and I definitely feel like the end goal of going to Classic Physique is a bit more within my grasp now. When I stood next to the guys on stage at Granite, it definitely gave me a good insight as to what I need now, and I think we're on the right path. So we just need to keep doing what we're doing and we'll get there. Sweet. Single arm pull down. Might go and ask them if they've got many sets left. Don't be afraid to ask people how many sets they've got left. Excuse me, dude. How many sets have you got left?
I've just got one more and then it's yours.
So no worries, man.
How are you doing today?
Yeah, really good. Just doing some filming. No worries. I'll take my rest.
Yeah.
How are you getting on when you're training anyway?
Yeah, it's good.
Just waiting to get on that machine. But yeah, it's funny, your mum was just saying there that I trained with him a few months ago because he was wanting to get in for a session, and I was actually explaining high intensity, low volume. He was just saying to me there that he's still doing it and it's working for him, so we're spreading the word, it's working, but everybody's got their own way of training. I just find it's really good, and obviously other people do as well. Single arm, high row, just get a feeler set in first. The reason that I'm using wrist straps on this is because of how wide these grips are. When you go quite heavy, I actually probably don't need it for my feeler, but when I go to my top set, I think having a wrist strap on just allows the grip not to be the limiting factor, and we're actually able to get as much out of your back as you can, because a lot of the time I find that my grip's just giving in when my back's still good to go for another few reps. So that's the purpose of the wrist strap, but for feelers we don't really need it. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend using grips. I wouldn't recommend using wrist straps all the time. I've never done any direct forearm work, but obviously my forearms have grown, and I would attribute that to trying to limit as much wrist strap use as possible and only using it when absolutely needed, just so that you're still getting your grip strength in. So yeah, literally if it's just an exercise where it's quite a wide grip, or if you're pulling quite heavy from the floor, then maybe use wrist straps. But for most of your back training, try not to, and then you'll be able to grow your forearms just from a byproduct of holding on to the weight.
I'm going in, is that an L? W is still a win. Got it off the muscle. All I know is hustle. All I know is making something out of nothing. What you think they see it? I had to hop in the kitchen. I'm really on fire. You know ignite it, yeah. I know some people don't like it. I move it with flavor. They probably a bite it, yeah. Trendsetter, being better.
On most single arm exercises, I never do back offs, just for more of a time purpose. You've got to do 2 top sets essentially, because we're doing it single arm at a time. So back off sets just make the session time go very fast. And towards the end of sessions, I tend to just start fading. So we're eliminating the back off set from this one. We'll just move on to our final set, which is machine preacher curls. Right. So that's my feeler set on this one. What you'll notice that I do on this machine is I've got my feet forward and I'm almost leaning back so that I can get more of a stretch in my biceps. See how I'm like fully extended without the bar hitting down. If I sit forward like this, I'm hitting down before my arms are actually stretched out. So I always recommend feet forward and try and lean your body weight back so that we can get a full range of motion when we're doing it. I don't know if you can see the difference between that and that. See how I'm hitting down way before I get that full stretch. It's just a bit of a nitpicky change, but we've got to get the 1% to add up to a very good final product at the end at 100%. Just kind of touching on that again, obviously there's a lot of data that infers that the stretch is a very important part of the range of motion, arguably where most growth occurs. So a massive part of my training ethic is that we always try and work in a stretch position, try and open the muscle up and just get as deep as we can. So making small adjustments to your form in order to achieve that works wonders. You know, if we add up all these small changes, it's gonna come to a bit of a better outcome when we get to the final product, you know?
Down is when I'm praying. When my back is turned on, only time they wanna see it. Water on me floors, cold as ice, I'm finna trade, yeah. Serve it to the people, they need hope, it's no delay. The odds against me. Back against the wall, I'm straight, yeah. Everything I've been through, it made better. Ooh, another day, it just made me better.
And we'll just do one last set to burn it out, and then we'll do some posing. So we're just talking there about like career-wise, if you're good at something but you don't enjoy it, it's a fucking point of doing it. You know, I found that there's been quite a lot of things that I've been good at through the years, or like I've all of a sudden developed a passion for, and I'll do something for maybe a couple of months, get really good at it, and then just lose interest. But I think the gym, coaching, it's something that I've stuck at for the last 10 years, and it's the only thing I've ever stuck at, so I know this is what I'm meant to be doing. And I think that goes for anybody that's trying to venture into starting their own career, starting their own business, is yeah, do something that you're good at or it's not going to work, but also make sure it's something that you enjoy, because you know the cheesy old saying, if you find a job that you enjoy, you'll never work a day, and it's true.
Tell it to your mammy, it don't matter, I ain't listening anyway. They just mad to see decided to drop, they look like ocean spray. You can get it too, you just one more than you talking. This what happen when you take your pain and make it motivation. It ain't gonna be easy to be a legend. Just to pay me, you need.
That's us done. Let's wrap it up there and we'll go and do some posing. Pretty happy with where the physique's at just now. Obviously we're, about a week and a half into the improvement phase, so I'm noticing myself start to fill up a bit more, starting to look a bit harder, leaner. Obviously we're like balls deep in our off-season just now, so I'm not fucking stage lean or even beach lean just yet, but we're holding good condition. I actually think this is probably the best look in an off-season that we've had so far. So yeah, pretty confident with where we're going. And there's still, like I say, plenty of room to push up with more food because it's pretty low and appetite's still there. So that's the first video of the series done anyway. I'm going to be releasing one of these every month. So next month it'll be a different session, either legs or push, whatever it is. Potentially even get some of my training partners in with me on different videos just so that we've got a bit more input from other people, even getting clients involved as well. Something else that I'm going to be doing with the channel is posting podcasts, so we'll be getting different guests on. It'll be more of like a lifestyle-based podcast, just kind of talking about how you fit your lifestyle in around bodybuilding. So like for me, I've got kids, job, house, dog, stuff like that. So there's plenty of things that kind of make bodybuilding harder. For a lot of people, we're not all professional athletes that do this for a living. So the podcast will be kind of based around how people manage to achieve that bodybuilding lifestyle around the rest of their actual priorities that they've got. But yeah, if you made it this far in the video, just leave a comment, like, subscribe. If you found anything useful, then just let me know. If you've got any questions, obviously drop that in the comment section as well. Also DM for any coaching inquiries if you want to get involved and take your physique to the next level.